let's start discussing chapter one. So, what is chemistry? This is a study of matter. So, for those, I'll be easy on discussing this, because some of you may not have any background in chemistry at all. Some of you might have taken STEM and have background of chemistry before, or general chemistry. So, please bear with us, especially yung mga nakapag-take na ng chemistry, okay? So, when we say matter, it is anything that has mass and takes up space. So, anything that you see under the sun, your chair, your laptop, your tablet, your dress, anything you see under the sun is matter. So, anything that takes up space and mass. So, kung familiar kayo, meron mga antimatter. Narinig niyo ba yun? So, sa mga movies, 'di ba, may mga antimatter and it is very important kasi parang they believe in, 'di ba? They believe in a lot of the people believe in a lot of things and there's a lot of theory about things and laging may opposite lahat ng bagay. So kung may black, may white, no, may matter, may antimatter. So should antimatter have if you're going to search, meron din kaya sila space and mass. So anyway, not so much related. And napasegue lang ako since we're discussing about matter. And matter can change from one form to another. Remember that matter cannot be created nor destroyed. This is actually a law that matter cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred to one energy from another. So there are chemical changes. Now it involves chemical reaction that we will tackle in our future discussion. Substance are used up and other forms in their place. Example, when propane or LPG gas burns into air, propane and oxygen are converted to carbon dioxide and water. Actually, we can have or we can write on and we can write it out in a simple solution or simple discussion. Right. Okay, so say for example, when propane burns in air, propane and oxygens are converted to carbon dioxide and water. So when we say, we can write this, sorry guys, when we can write this out into a very simple chemical equation. So propane, this is a three carbon atom that would be C3H, C3H10 plus oxygen. When propane gas, this one is our propane gas. You will understand this more when we enter our organic chemistry in our laboratories. Again, I think guys later we can meet at 3:30 to 5:30. Okay, so for our organic chemistry discussion. So propane is C3H10 in organic chemistry. By the way, the difference of organic and inorganic chemistry is that in inorganic chemistry, we will not discuss carbon atoms more. Unlike kay organic chemistry, we will discuss or dive deeper to every carbon atom there is na pwede nating ma-discuss, as simple as it can be, as simple as it can add up into our discussion. So when propane gas reacts that with oxygen, by the way, you notice that oxygen here is two molecule because this is a diatomic molecule. Oxygen cannot exist alone in an environment because it will have two electron around its electron cloud. So ang tawag natin kapag nag-iisa lang ang ating oxygen is this one is a reactive oxygen species. Reactive oxygen species. And it can be a free radical. And take note, free radicals exist no, with a different type of reaction. But mostly, halimbawa, nagre-react sa mga pagkadastos ng mga skincare, ito yung mga iniiwasan natin, mga free radical or free rads. Bakit? Kasi it can cause wrinkles, no? It can cause aging of cells na mas mabilis or maaaring masira yung skin natin ng mas mabilis. Kaya gumagamit tayo, di ba, ng ano? Anong panangga natin sa free radical? We have our antioxidant. So usually, vitamin C, vitamin E, or any other type of vitamins and other supplementary na pwedeng i-take So free radicals does not only came from the sun. Free radicals may also exist when we are exposed in radiation or maaari when we expose in our radiation. So for gadgets, kaya di ba, the more na nakatutok tayo sa gadgets, the more na nagkakaroon tayo ng wrinkles, the more na nag-age yung skin natin. Napapansin niyo sa mga skin niyo pag magdamag kayo nakaharap sa gadgets, parang tumatanda yung skin ninyo. So it's important to have a sunscreen, ayan, because they also contain BHA and BHE that protect your skin from naging patalastas na yung skincare, ano? That protects your skin from wrinkling or parang aging na mas mabilis. So, kahit nakaharap lang kayo sa mga gadgets ninyo. So, aside from that, ano, yun nga yung sinabi ko. Sorry guys, ang haba na segue natin doon. So this will become CO2, the product of combustion. Tandaan nyo, this is a type of combustion. Though hindi tayo magda-dive deeper dito ngayon, this is for other topic, which is chemical reaction. The product of combustion is carbon dioxide and water. Okay? So the product of combustion again is carbon dioxide and water. So ito po yun. Though this type of equation is not yet balanced, we will go further on that. Medyo matagal-tagal pa yun, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm just giving you an overview on yung mga pwede nating ma-discuss in our inorganic chemistry. So carbon dioxide is not healthy sa katawan. Tama ba? Carbon dioxide, if you're going to remember, we inhale oxygen. I hope this simple exchange of gases is familiar na kayo. We inhale oxygen, right? We exhale carbon dioxide. That means oxygen is a food for the cell and carbon dioxide is a waste of the cell. So too much accumulation of carbon dioxide in the air is not good for our environment. Not only in our environment, but carbon dioxide is also not good in human body, especially if the room is full of carbon dioxide. If you notice yourself na feeling you fatigue kayo or with tiredness kayo nararamdaman and you're in an enclosed space, no, parang wala masyadong window sa room ninyo and feeling nyo sobrang pagod kayo, nadidrain kayo, every time na lumalabas kayo, nai-ease yung inyong yung tiredness na nararamdaman niyo. That is because we have this so-called sickness. Ang tawag natin is SBS, sick building syndrome. If you're not familiar with this one, you may search for it. Pero totoong sakit ito. And this is due to the accumulation of carbon dioxide that we might inhale again, no, sa isang room or space na nasa loob tayo. So, to ease this, no, this syndrome, we can just go outside and inhale a lot of oxygen. The problem is in Manila or in nearby places ng Manila, there's a lot of air pollution available. And kahit lumabas kayo, though maiis kasi makaka-inhale kayo ng oxygen, there is a lot of particulate matter suspended in the air already na sobrang nakaka-asthma. No, you'll notice that every time. Since from Bulacan ba kayo lahat? Let me know. Ano, since from that area kayo lahat, pag pumunta kayo ng Manila, makikita niyo na ang bilis magkaroon ng allergies, ang bilis magkaroon ng asthma, there's a lot of problem in our respiratory. So, air pollution is a lot to talk about, no? And this is one type of air pollution, no? Itong CO2 natin. And in air pollution, mag-open yung mga other topics sa atin, such as, ano, mga ozone layer depletion, etc. And any problems sa ating environment that might arise and might affect human, no? So, balik tayo, no? Napalayo na naman tayo, sorry. So, I hope okay lang sa inyo magkwento ako ng ganito, no? So, in a physical change, matter does not lose its identity. So, a common physical, halimbawa ng mga physical change, kung mapansin nyo chemical change, from our propane gas, naging oxygen, molecularly, nag-change yung property niya, nagiging carbon dioxide and water. But in physical change, it is still a chemical, it is still a reaction, but it doesn't have to change its physical state. Say, for example, your ice in melts to become liquid water. So that is still the same H2O molecularly, right? Nag-iba lang yung kanyang form. It can also boils to become a steam and gaseous water, but still, it is still H2O. Okay, so there's a lot of different type of reactions aside from chemical and physical, but we'll focus on this chemical change and physical change for now. Okay, so what is the scientific method that we might encounter a lot, especially you're in the field of medtech, so we will be looking for or diving deeper into scientific method when we turn or when we have our classes on research or kapag nag-research na kayo in the future. So what is scientific method? The easiest way to explain this, now, as you may know or as you are familiar with, is this one is a scientific guess, meaning it is not just a guess. You have to base it on some facts. You have to support your claims. You have to make other people see that there's a lot of events, or there might be a lot of particular um, theory about this that is arising online. So, or probably scientific method is something new that you can prove through your research. So anything that is based on facts. So when we say scientific, sorry, I think I have misdiscussed. Sorry, the hypothesis is the educational guess, not the scientific method. Okay, well, scientific method is based on our hypothesis. So hypothesis again is an educational guess. It is the way of claiming something through proving it with a lot of theories available online. So or available with you or available with the resources that you have. So scientific method is based on fact and the hypothesis that you have created. So a statement based on direct experience is what we call a fact. So say for example, I woke up 7 o'clock in the morning today. This is a fact because nangyari yan direct to my experience. When we say hypothesis, this is a statement that is proposed without actually a proof to explain a set of facts or their relationship. Probably, say for example, I woke up this morning because I have to, or I woke up this morning because, or we should find a relation, right? So, um, say for example, I have a class every 7 a.m. and my body clock is continuously waking up every 7 a.m. after that class ends. You understand my hypothesis? I have a class in chemistry that occur every 7 a.m. for a whole year. And after that, after the class ends, I still wake up every 7 a.m. unknowingly, unconsciously, because I've been trained to wake up 7 a.m. for the whole year. So this is a hypothesis that is not yet proven, no, but we can conduct an experiment about it. So say, for example, to conduct an experiment, we would do classes every 5 a.m. for the whole year. And then see next year, if even the classes ends, will I wake up at 5 a.m. again, like the ones that happened right now in 7 a.m. So that is a way or experimentation that we can do to see if this really is occurring or I just wake up at a specific time because of some other factors. So if I wake up 5 a.m., we can prove or we can have a more trials about it. So it will take a lot of time since year din ating hypothesis to prove. So when we say theory, the formulation of an apparent relationship among certain observed phenomena, which has been verified to some extent. So when we say theory regarding our problem, we can say that according to the research of this person, a body can adapt to a certain schedule that he has or he or she has been doing for the whole year. So that may prove our reasoning or our hypothesis why I wake up 5 a.m. even the class already ends. Okay, because my body already adapted to it. So that is a theory that if proven or if there's already a research existing around that we can tap, this theory will be proven right. So, in a sense, a theory is the same as hypothesis, except that we have a stronger belief. Why? Because we have some supporting documents or we have some cases around online circulating that is already available or that is also happening to other people, not just you. So, if however we find new evidence that conflicts with the theory, it must be altered and rejected. So that is how the scientific community works. If something is not working or not applying, no, with the theories available, that means that we can alter it or we can reject it. So it doesn't mean that the theory is already in there, that it is also the only theory there is. So, ibig sabihin guys, hindi porque yan lang yung theory. So, for example, before, ang alam lang natin that ang atom is merong proton, neutron, and electron. By the way, anong structure ng atom? In our atom, no, sa gitna ng ating atom, we have our nucleus. And our nucleus contains proton and neutron. By the way, to every element, it differs kung ilang number ng proton, ilang number ng neutron. But this is the basic structure of our atom. So, ano nangyayari? We have our atom, which is a positively charged, and we have our neutron, which is a neutral charge. And then we have an electron cloud circulating on a counterclockwise and clockwise basis. So, when we say electron cloud, and this is where the electron goes into or circle around our nucleus. So this is an electron circulating on a counterclockwise. This one is counterclockwise and this one is clockwise basis. Okay? So that is the first belief that we have in our atom. We don't think that this proton, this neutron can also be dissected into a smaller element. That is where the string theory happened. Okay, so string theory is that you believe that your atoms or your proton, which is a very small particulate, no, we cannot see this through our eyes. This is just a model. This atomic model, no one would know that a theory would arise that state that we can dissect every neutron and proton and electron into a smaller. You can zoom in further, and when you zoom in further, you can see strings. That's where string theory arises. That inside this proton, neutron, and electron, there is a moving string that is responsible for the vibration and frequency and energy na iniinit nila. Sila responsible for positive, negative, and neutral energy na iniinit ng ating proton, neutron, and electron. So, sabi ko nga, if however, we find the evidence that conflicts with the theory, it must be altered or rejected. So, if we're going to dive deeper on this topic about atomic models and string theory, I recommend you watch on YouTube si Michio Kaku. I don't know if you're familiar with this physicist. Michio. I don't know if I'm stating the name correctly. Just search. Isa lang naman ng Michio Kaku. And he explains in every university about this string theory. And it will be very easy for you to understand kung siya yung papakinggan niyo because it is a very deep discussion. And there's a lot of integration from other principles and other theory dito sa topic na ito. Okay? But we don't need that in our discussion right now kasi tayo ay organic and inorganic chemistry pa. Okay? So, in our scientific method, we have a series of steps that we have to follow, guys. In our research, no, before I believe that research is something that pwede niyong gawan ng bagong practice, bagong step-by-step process. But guys, I've realized and I've learned that in research, it doesn't mean na, say, for example, you wanted to check for the anti-cancer property of a plant. You don't do something na mag-extra kayo on your own and do something on your own, create your own criteria kung paano nyo malalaman kung anti-cancer talaga. You have to grasp every research available online regarding it, especially if you're looking for criteria, if it will really be approved as an anti-cancer or not. I mean, there's a lot of different research out there that have established kung magkakaroon talaga ng effect or not ang isang halaman. But if you're going to change, halimbawa yung halaman, you have to pattern your research on any other research that have proven a way na possible makita sa halaman kung siya ay anti-cancer or not. What I mean to say is you don't just research and do something without having something online na pwede ninyong magamit as a reference. You always follow the reference, you always follow the protocol. Kahit saan field ng research yan, there's an already existing type of protocols and criteria, maliban talaga kung breakthrough or something new talaga ang nire-research ninyo. So, ganun naman ang research ngayon. You should always follow a protocol kasi itong protocol na to is also based on the work of other people na nakabase na rin sa kanila sa ilang taon nilang pag-research regarding this protocol. So, we have to use that protocol kasi yun na yung proven. So, ganun ang ating research. We don't just conduct research kasi ay sa tingin ko magandang yung research ito. And itong research ko ito is gagawin ko ng ganito. Akong bahala sa process and steps na gagawin kasi sa tingin ko ganito yung pinaka-mas okay na steps. So no guys, no, yung steps nun, you should look online for the steps, you should look online for the protocols and criteria. Hindi siya gano'n kadaling mag-isip na ganito yung gagawin ko kasi ganito yung naisip ko. So I think yung iba sa inyo is nakagawa na ng ibang research, tama? And we always base, kaya meron tayong related literature, we always base our research on that related literature. Okay? So when you use a scientific method, it starts with observation. Okay, we observe what is happening. So, halimbawa, I don't know if you're watching Jessica Soho, but I see na meron doon sila na, yung sa puno ng saging, I don't know if you can relate on this, but meron sila ng sa puno ng saging, na pinuputol nila, and then iniinom nila yung water sa gitna ng puno ng saging, and then it helps lower their blood pressure. So that is a type of observation. Probably itong albularya na ito have been seeing it a lot nung bata siya and then natap lang yung knowledge na yun while dreaming kasi sabi na panaginipan daw niya eh. So guys, I'm also a believer sa mga ganito, no? Don't get me wrong. So kahit nasa science field ako, I'm also a believer ng mga ganito, yung mga dreams, etc. And the supernatural that we can't explain and our metaphysical things. I believe on those. So um baka kasi may ma-offend na sinabi ko na gano'n 'no. This is just a scientific point of view or I might be, just having my own theory about this. So, maaaring albularyo nakita nung bata pa siya, then nawala sa isip niya kasi bata pa siya nun, that suddenly napanaginipan niya kasi nagre-reoccur sa kanya subconsciously, 'di ba? So, probably itong practice na ito has been observed by a lot of years already and nakita na totoo, bumababa talaga yung kanilang blood pressure. That's a way of observation. Establishing a law summarizes and explains a wide range of observation. Pag iniinom ba ito ng ilang tao, nakikita rin ba yung same effect? And yes, nakikita yung same effect. So you just create a theory. So what if you look for the phytochemical test yung puno ng saging. So phytochemical test, it is tine-test lahat ng molecule na meron yung water or yung puno ng saging kung ano yung mga molecule na pwedeng makita dun. And then relating this molecule to different type of diseases and how can it alleviate some other diseases. So that is forming a theory. Next and last step natin is about experimentation. So in experimentation, that is we see, we conduct a lot of or we have meron tayong control 1 and control 1 and experimental group. So in control 1, we will administer just a random water sa kanila. So that will be your placebo group. And then yung group 1 natin, sila yung magti-take nitong iinom ng tubig na galing sa saging kung talagang may effect. And then from there, magkakaroon tayo ng result or proven facts. Okay? So after this experimentation, you'll go back to your theory. Okay, so to suggest another experiment na pwede pang mag-come up or mag-arise dun sa na-propose nating experimentation. Kasi from one idea, from one theory, we can conduct a lot of different researches. Okay, so we also have our exponential notation. So this is used to represent very large or very small numbers as powers of 10. So for exponential notation, I'll be sending you a video. If you're familiar with Tyler DeWitt, I love the video of Tyler DeWitt because I've learned a lot on Tyler DeWitt, not just on exponential notation, but also in analytical chemistry. So just remember this YouTuber. I always watch Tyler DeWitt and I will not limit that knowledge na meron ako sa inyo. So I hope you try to watch Tyler DeWitt YouTube video. So used to represent, so what is exponential notation? He has a very easy to understand discussion of exponential notation. So what is exponential notation? It's used to represent very large or small numbers of powers of 10. So for example, the Avogadro's number. You will be familiar on this when we come into stoichiometry. Stoichiometry, which is I think by the end of our inorganic and organic, we'll discuss about stoichiometry. Okay, so Avogadro's number is 6.02 times 10 raised to 23. I think it's 6 trillion. So imagine writing this as an exponential notation. As a regular number, that will be 602,000, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, until 23 zeros, right? 1, 2. Sorry, until 21 zeros na pala. Until 21 zeros. Imagine writing that number that long. And every time babanggitin mo yung Avogadro's number, sasabihin mo lahat ng number na yon. It would be very tedious task for us, right? So we come up with a name. We call it the Avogadro's number. We'll use that. It is the number of molecule in one mole. Okay, sorry. For every one mole of every atom, one mole. So, for example, we use one mole. This does not mean that this is molecule, right? Okay, hindi ibig sabihin molecule. We use it as quantifying certain atom in a reaction. So, when we say one mole of carbon, that means we have 6.02 times 10 raised to 23 atom of carbon um, at hand. So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng 1 mole. 1 mole is equivalent to 6.02 times 10 raised to 23 atom. Okay? So, there's a lot of numbers or there's a lot of shortcuts to telling you kung anong tawag dito sa 6.02 times 10 raised to 23. But it is commonly known as our Avogadro's number. So, this one is the number of atoms in a mole. So, when we say, I have 1 mole of carbon, we have 6.02 times 10 raised to 23. So ma'am, paano natin madi-differentiate? We have carbon, we have sulfur, we have oxygen, a lot more different um, atoms around. So paano natin madi-differentiate sila kung lahat sila pare-parehas sa 6.02 times 10 raised to 23? Guys, diyan papasok yung grams or yung bigat ng atom. Say for example, actually this is an introduction to your stoichiometry, sorry. But I hope you can still understand what I'm saying, ha? I'll go back with my periodic table. Let me know if you can't see this periodic table. Ano? I hope you download also this periodic table kasi I think it is very good reference, lalo na online tayo. No? So say for example, in our carbon, yan, our carbon contains 12.0107. We'll discuss on this further, but I'll give you an example, okay? Let me know if so hindi nakikita, okay? So say for example, our carbon contains 12.0107 grams per mole. What does this mean? Ibig sabihin, our carbon, ang bigat ng isang carbon natin is 12.0107 grams kada isang mole. Okay. That means, how many atoms ang laman ng isang mole ng carbon? This means one mole of carbon, kasi daw 12.0107 grams per mole, tama? This one is the same as this one. Okay, but it is different than molecule, guys. Do not be confused. So this mole and this mole is the same. But ang sabi dyan is for every one mole daw ng carbon, meron tayong 12.0107 grams. Ganun yung bigat niya. So, ang tanong, gano'ng karaming atom itong 12.0107 grams na ito? Guys, this one is fixed. Okay? Ito ang fixed lang dito. 6.02 times 10 raised to 23 atoms. Imagine nyo kung gano'ng karaming atoms ang kailangan natin para maging tangible siya sa ating mata. Para maging 12 grams ang ating nakikita. So, that takes 6.02 times 10 raised to 23 atoms. Naiintindihan? Yun ang connection nilang tatlo. Okay? So, to further explain, let's have another example. Say, for example, calcium. When I say 1 mole of calcium, sorry, so, gano'n kabigat ang calcium? 40.078 grams. Gano'n siya kabigat per mole. Ibig sabihin, for every 1 mole of calcium, we have 40.078 grams. So, yung 40.078 grams na yan, tangible na yan sa mata natin, nakikita na natin yan. So, ilang atoms ang laman yan? 6.02 times 10 raised to 23 atoms. Do you understand? So, ibig sabihin, this Avogadro's number is a number of atom regardless of the atom or the element that we are talking about. It is standard, it is fixed. Ang nag-iiba lang is yung grams. We'll discuss further dito, so I hope you understand on how I discuss this Avogadro's number, mole, and gram relationship. Okay, let's go back to our exponential notation. Okay, so exponential notation, again, it represents very large or very small number as powers of 10. Something na hindi na kaya nating banggitin sa sobrang dami, we can write it out as an exponential notation. So how does it work? So every time na, if you're, say for example, the base is 2. Okay, the base is 2. Always remember, all single digit number has a dot no, on the right side. Okay? So, tapos ng dot na yun, we have 0. But it can be omitted. Pwede natin tanggalin yung dot na yun. So, this is just to explain to you kung saan nagmumula yung dot. Okay? So, if we're going to move this number 2, this is number 2. So, ito yung tangible na nakikita din number 2, dalawa. Okay? So, if we're going to move this, say for example, period, okay, to the left, to expand this one, kasi sabi dyan is, sorry, -5. Sorry, kahit ako nang banibago ha. Say for example, 2 times 10 is -5. How do you expand this? So imagine nyo lagi merong dot on the right side of number 2. And sabi dyan is -5. So if may negative, laging to the left ang movement ng ating exponential notation. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will be 0, sorry, 0 point, andito na yung dot, 0, 0, 0, 0. So, apat na. Dagdag 1, 2, 3, 4. Intindihan? So, if you're going to the right, that would be 2 times 10 raised to 6. If we're going to expand that, remember there's always a dot on the right side of your number 2. So, since 6 is positive, hindi siya negative, we'll move that 6 times yung dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, tama, no? 6. So, that is how you expand your scientific notation. Okay? Now, we also have a metric system. Again, guys, I'll send a video recording for exponential notation and significant figure. Okay, because this is very important before we discuss further dito sa ating inorganic chemistry. So, next tayo is metric system. So, base unit in the metric system, we have length, volume, mass, time, temperature, energy, amount of substance. So, for length, it is meter. For volume, it is length. So, for mass, liter, ano ba yan? For mass, it is grams. For time, it is second. Temperature is Kelvin, energy is joule. Mole is amount of substance no, in an atom. And we have for enzymatic activity. So discuss ko lang to enzymatic activity which is not that important sa inyo ngayon. But kung malabas sa boards, this one should be katan. No? Ang tawag natin sa unit for enzymatic activity or kung gaano kabilis mag-act ang certain enzymes sa isang substance, that is what we call katal. Okay? So this is the most metric prefixes. No need to write. I think this is on the book. I will share the book later after this meeting. So, pico, nano, micro. Micro, you will encounter this on some subjects such as occupational health, but I think wala kayong subject na ganun. Nano and pico, you will encounter this a lot in our cells kasi ito yung cell level na, gano'n palit ang cells natin. So this is on hematology and other health sciences na madadaanan ninyo in the future. Okay? Next tayo. So these are what I'm talking about, the significant figures. But I'll give you video na mas malinaw at mas maintindihan niyo with a lots of example para, kasi kasama to sa mga magiging quiz natin next week. By the way, may quiz na tayo next week, both lab and laboratory. This will be facilitated online. So I'll check pa kung anong possible natin gamitin, kung forms or zip rate. Okay? So for significant figures, we have 4 rules. We have non-zero digits are always significant. Remember, 1, 2, 3 hanggang 9 is always significant. Okay, for example, if you're going to count how many significant figures are there in 233.1, the answer is 4 because they all have non-zero digit. Okay, so how about 2.3? How many significant figure? 2. Next, number 2, zeros at the beginning of a number is never significant. So, for example, how many significant number are there in 0.0055 liters? The answer is just 2 because itong zero na nasa harap natin are non-zero, are not significant kasi nandun siya sa harap. And yung 55 natin, Yung 55 natin, ito yung ating significant number because they are non-zero digits. Next, number 3 rule natin, zeros at the end of the number that doesn't contain a decimal, that contains a decimal point. Again, zeros at the end of the number that contains decimal points are always significant. Okay. For example, in 3.00 liter, the significant number in this is 3. Significant figures in 0.0450 is also 3. Kasi non-significant ito and significant yung kasunod ng number. Okay. Number 4, zeros at the end of the number that contains no decimal point may or may not be significant. For example, 36,000 contains two significant figures and $36,000 contains seven significant figures. So 5,000 ml contains one significant figures and 5,000 na may dot contains four significant figure. Okay, naintindihan? So yung dot yung titingnan ninyo. Okay? So next tayo, I'll just give another example of this one. Ay, lalo na sa video na ipapanood ko sa inyo. So, yun na lang yung gagawin natin supplementary for this one. But you can also read the book. I think this all are also in the book. So, some conversions na available. Can you add on here? Baka magamit natin in the future, lalo sa mga quizzes, is yung Celsius to Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit to Celsius, Kelvin to Celsius. Okay, so this is for temperature. So some important conversions that you might need. And also, sorry, mole to Avogadros, at saka gram relationship. These are some of the important conversion factor that might help you in the future, lalo sa mga future quiz natin. So what's the difference of mass and weight? When we say mass, the quantity of the matter in an object. So mass is independent of the location. So weight naman is the result of mass acted upon by gravity. So weight depends on the location. So say for example, nandito kayo sa tuktok ng bundok. Sinukat niyo yung may kayong timbangan. Sinukat niyo yung timbang niyo. And kung nasa baba kayo ng bundok, sinukat niyo yung timbang din ninyo. Okay? So that is your weight. Weight is acted upon by the gravity that is pulling you down. So expect na kapag nasa higher places kayo, gravity mas mabigat kayo. And kapag nasa mga lower places kayo, is mas magaan kayo. So, tandaan, ang ating formula for mass, tama, is force times acceleration. Ang formula for weight is equivalent to ang formula nga for weight, mass acted upon by gravity. I think we don't have. In chemistry, we both use mass kasi mass lagi ang ginagamit natin. So, anyway, sa physics, may ibang formula, I think, on weight. Though may alam ako formula, though I'll have to check it. Siyempre, ayoko mag-disseminate ng false information, ano? So, I'll check it later and then go back to you guys kung ano yung formula ng weight. But for mass, it is mass times acceleration. Sometimes this one is acceleration due to gravity if it is not available. So I think that is your weight. Sorry guys, I'll have to check on this, but I have to say it or kung tama. Don't write this down. Maaring mali, but I'll just look for it. Kasi nga ang ating weight is dependent sa inyong gravitational pull. So, yung mass mo dito pag nasa tuktok kayo ng bundok is not the same as the mass na meron kayo dito sa baba. Okay? So, sorry. Ulitin ko. Sorry. Yung weight na meron kayo sa tuktok ng bundok is not the same as the weight na meron kayo kapag bumaba kayo ng bundok. Okay? So, yung mass ninyo, wherever you are, kung ang timbang mo dito, yun din ang timbang nyo dito sa mass. Because mass is independent of the location. That's why we use mass a lot of times dito sa ating discussion ngayon. So, we also have your conversion, yung sinasabi ko, conversion of Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin. So, in the Philippines, we use mostly yung Celsius, lalo na pag mga fever, ganyan. Daw kung makikita ninyo, yung sa pagluluto, in Fahrenheit lahat sila, lalo na yung pag-preheat ng oven. Napapansin nyo ba? Okay. So, we also have Kelvin, but we rarely use this one. But I hope you learn or understand, no, yung kanilang conversion factor. Madali lang naman since you just have to interchange kung ano yung available na factor, kung ano yung given sa problem. So, pinakamadali of course si Kelvin kasi Celsius, halimbawa, 37 degrees Celsius plus 273, yun yung Kelvin temperature ninyo. Okay? Okay. So, by the way, just fun fact, ano-ano nga pala ang boiling point ng water? Remember, ang water magsisimula mag-boil at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay? So, by that time, 100 degrees, patay na lahat ng enzyme natin diyan. Kaya yung mga egg dyan is tumitigas kasi namamatay yung enzyme inside the egg. So, at 37 degrees Celsius, fun fact din ulit, this is the optimum temperature na nag-work ang ating enzyme, which is our body temperature. Okay? Kaya medyo scary kapag sa global warming, tumataas ng tumataas yung temperature. Kasi yung mga, not just the mga marine enzymes or mga marine na mga hayop or mga lahat apektado ng pagtaas ng temperature natin. Okay? Kasi parang kahit sa katawan natin, if halimbawa, imagine niyo at 37 degrees Celsius, diyan din active ang ating mga yeast. No, yung mga yeast natin, remember, kapag ang mold guys, ito yung sa tinapay, yung mold, tama? Yung mold is at room temperature. Pero kapag ang mold na yan, pag-aaralan niyo 'to sa, mycology, kapag yung mold na yan na subjected at 37 degrees Celsius, lalo na kung dimorphic ang isang fungi, it can be mold or yeast, 'no, may mga gano'ng fungi kasi, 'no, at room temperature siya ay mold. So, ito yung nakikita sa tinapay. Pero kapag napasok siya sa katawan ng tao, which is 37 degrees Celsius, nagiging yeast siya. And halos lahat ng mga diseases is nagmumula sa yeast. Okay? So, yun yung danger kapag yung ating temperature outside our body is, or yung environmental temperature is mas tumataas. Ganon kalaki yung post. Guys, sobrang laki pa ng nangyayari sa ating environment ngayon na nakakatakot na parang wala na, patapos na talaga ang Earth. Anyway, we have our factor label method and we will use this method mostly in our computation dito sa chemistry. So we have conversion factor, a ratio of two different units used as a multiplier to change from one system to another. Ganito guys, okay? Well, you will understand this more lalo na pag pumunta tayong stoichiometry. But how does factor label method um, happen? So say for example, for every 1 pound daw, no, we have 453.6 grams. So this is what you call your conversion unit. Okay, so this is what you call your conversion unit. Guys, let me know if you have any question. Ano, wait, 42 na pala tayo dito. Hello, guys. Good morning. Good morning sa mga karating lang. Again, I will not check your attendance right now kasi makikita ko siya nagse-send sa akin ng review. Tsaka yung mga umaalis-alis, nagse-send sa akin ng review si Google dun sa aking email to check for the attendance. So we don't need to check attendance from then on. So now, meron tayong 42 students. Hello and good morning. Balik tayo dito. I think we'll end 8:30 siguro guys. Ano? Okay, so for example, this one is our conversion factor. 1 pound is equivalent to 453.6 grams. So the problem is convert 381 grams into pounds. So we have to write, ay, nako, ang pindot, I'm sorry. Ano ba yan? I have to write it down. Okay, so say for example, we have to write it down. So 381 grams. Okay. When we see this number, always remember guys na meron yung laging 1 sa ilalim. But we choose not to add that one, okay, to avoid confusion. So, we cross multiply divided by yung conversion factor natin. So, when we use factor label method, ang nilalagay nating unit sa ilalim is yung meron tayong given amount. Okay, so in this case, we have our grams. Okay, so bakit kailangan grams? I'll show you later. 453.6 grams for every ano daw? 1 pound. So, ilalagay natin sa ilalim. Bakit? Guys, we can cancel yung grams dito sa ilalim. Okay, ganito kasi nangyari dyan. No? 381 grams times, kasi mamultiply siya sa taas, tama? So, times 1 pound divided by 453.6 grams. So, parang sinabi niyo lang na grams divided by grams. So, ilan to? 1. Tama kasi 2. Halimbawa, 2 divided by 2 is equivalent to 1. So, anything na i-divide mo on itself is equivalent to 1. Tama? So, ganun din sa grams. 1 divided by grams is 1. So, you can cancel this kasi pag nilagay niyo 1 dyan, ganun pa rin yung magiging sagot. Do you understand where it came from? Naintindihan yan? Okay. So, the answer would be 381. So sometimes we do not write this like this on this type of way. So sometimes we just choose to cancel kung ano yung nasa ilalim at saka yung nasa ibabaw and it is already understood. Cancel grams, ang matitirang unit is pound. Makes sense kasi bakit? Ang hinahanap natin is a conversion factor para maging pound. So magiging 381 divided by 453, the answer for that is 0.840 pounds. Okay? So in this number, 0.840 pounds, how many significant numbers are in this number? Sige, can you answer guys? Kung gising pa kayo, ilang significant number meron ang 0 point? Okay, yes ma'am. Sige, Miss Tolentino. Okay, na
Sige.
naman Grace.
Three
Okay,
significant
so we have,
numbers.
yes. Oh, okay. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for answering. We have three significant numbers. So that is 8, 4, and 0. Yung number zero, yung zero natin dito is considered non-significant. Okay, good job. Great one, guys. Okay, next one. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next one example is convert 1.844 gallons to milliliters. Here we use two conversion factors from gallons to liters and then from liters to milliliters. So um for every 1 gallon, meron tayong 3.785 liter. For every 1 liter, we have 1,000 ml. So in this case, pwede natin ito i-dissect, okay? Ang gusto natin i-convert is gallons to milliliters. Pero dahil alam natin na ganitong conversion lamang, we can use this for now, okay? So, ang ka-convert natin is 1.884 gallons. Convert this one 2 liter first. Okay, so multiply by, ano ilalagay natin sa ilalim? Yung gallon. Kasi that is the unit that we wanted to cancel. So for every 1 gallon, ayan, tandaan, ito yung conversion factor natin. If you'll notice, yung 1 nasa ilalim, dito is 453 nasa ilalim, yung 1 nasa ibabaw. Bakit ganun? Guys, ang papaboran nyo lagi when writing your denominator will be the same unit na meron yung gusto ninyong i-cancel. Laging ganun. Okay? Kasi we can only cancel kung denominator yung kanyang conversion. We can only cancel this unit when ganun yung ating scenario. So for this one, 1 gallon is equivalent to 3.785 liters. Okay? But we can add something dito sa kasunod niya, which is yung conversion ng liter to milliliter. Okay? So, this equation can go further and further kung saan niyo siyang gustong i-convert. Pero kung gusto niyo putulin muna, ito muna yung gagawin ninyo and then finding the answer and then coming up with this one, okay lang din. Okay, kung saan mas madali sa inyo. So, dahil dito, makakancel ng gallon and yung liter ang gusto nating i-cancel and ang gusto nating malaman yung ml, so yung liter ilalagay natin sa ilalim kasi that is the only way we can cancel, right? So, yung sa taas natin is 1,000 ml. So, we can cancel liter. So, if we're going to simplify this equation, that will be 1.844. Actually, we don't need to simplify this equation. We just need to recalculate using this one. But para lang maintindihan nila kung ano yung nangyayari. Kapag na-cancel na lahat ng unit, we'll multiply 1.844 times 3.75. Tandaan, ito ay may 1 sa ilalim. So if you're going to multiply, ito ay mamumultiply sa lahat ng numerator niya. You understand? Times 1,000 ml divided by 1 times 1 times 1 is also 1. So the answer for that will be 6980. Okay, you can type your answer for now para naiintindihan. Nakikita ko yan lahat nagpa-participate. How many significant figure is 6,980 ml? How many significant figure is 6,980 ml? Okay, the correct answer for this one is, yes, correct. We have 4 significant numbers. Okay, so we're done with significant figures. Let's proceed. Okay, tama ang karamihan. Okay, thank you guys sa pakikinig at naintindihan. Okay, mas nalalaman kung naintindihan kung sumasagot kayo. Thank you so much, guys. So, there are 3 states of matter. We have gas, liquid, and solid. When we say gas, there's no definite shape or volume. It is yung circulating gas around us, nasa ating air. Mga air elements natin, usually ay mga gaseous element. But not just on air. We have propane gas, no? Maraming gas na available sa ating are ubiquitous in nature na hindi nakalagay, nakasuspend sa air natin. Some are synthetic or anthropologic, meaning humans created it, and some are naturally occurring in nature. Probably sa pagbuga ng volcano, biglang lumalabas itong mga gas na to. Okay. So, it expands to fill whatever container it is put into. So, kung papansinin niyo, gas can expand anything. Kung nilagay niyo siya sa kahit glass container pa yan, it will try to expand yung glass container. Pero ano ang magiging mangyayari? In an attempt to expand the glass container, sasabog yung glass container because it also fills up the spaces. The more the gas, the more yung ating pressure. So itong theory na ito, I think this will be on Boyle's theory na of gases. But we'll not discuss that ngayon, okay? So gas is related to pressure din. So ganun din ang ating mga balloons, yung ating mga kotse, gulong ng kotse, no? Ang main component nito is our gas. We also have our liquid which takes the shape of the container kasi siya ay no definite shape, but a definite volume. So it is only slightly compressible unlike the gas. And we also have our solid, which is a definite shape and volume and is essentially incompressible. Like yung inyong mga, say for example, stones, no, or glass, sabi ko nga, they're incompressible that when gas tries to expand it, sumasabog siya kasi hindi siya adaptable, hindi siya flexible. Okay? We also have the concept of density. So, ano yung density? Have you seen yung hayop na lumulutang sa ibabaw ng water? No? That is because of the surface area. Nakapag-try na kayo na yung ang tawag dito, needle, papalutangin niyo sa water and lumulutang siya. Yung barko, lumulutang sa tubig kahit gaano kabigat. So that is your surface tension. Okay? So that is because may ang ating area ng water, sorry, different pala yung nasa barko. Ang reason ng barko bakit lumulutang siya kasi mas mabigat yung ating ang tawag dito, mas mabigat yung bodies of water natin kaysa sa pagitan ng barko and bukod doon meron tayong mga anchors na tinatawag. But for this one, ano, sa mga needles at saka yung insekto na lumulutang sa tubig, ano, that is because of the surface tension. So kung mapapansin ninyo, yung water glasses ninyo halimbawa, makikita niyo kasi sa paligid na parang may kailangan kayong i-penetrate na something before kayo makapunta sa loob. So parang may thin sheet or thin mesh sa ibabaw, yun yung pinapatungan ng ating mga noodle. Though not much related sa ating density, no? Pero gusto ko lang sabihin na this is one important din na medyo related, pero not directly because of the density. So in density, no, density is the ratio of mass to volume. So this is how heavy, no, yung isang bagay. So, ang formula natin for density is equivalent to mass over volume. And the most commonly used unit for this one usually is gram per ml. Remember guys, kapag sasagot kayo ng mga exams quiz, you need to answer completely. Okay? I want you to answer with two significant figures lagi. Okay? Ay, sorry. Ganito na lang. I want you to answer with um, two decimal point like this. So say for example, in this one, we answer as 0.84. Okay, we always answer, halimbawa for this one, we answer as 61.50. We add 0. Pares lang naman yan. Okay? For this one, we answer with 73.20. Okay? Sa mga exam and quizzes. Para uniform tayo. And also, I want you to always put the desired unit sa mga question. No unit is wrong. Okay? So, the most common unit for density is gram per ml. So usually kapag density, we have problems. Like, example, if 73.2 ml of liquid has a mass of 61.5, okay, so again, if 73.2 ml of liquid has a mass of 61.5, what is the density of this liquid? Okay. So usually guys, ano, yung kada liquid, meron niyang designated mass. Meron tayong list niyan. I think meron yan sa likod ng book natin. And sometimes, pwede nyo namang i-calculate talaga or timbangin. But usually guys, and on my experience, I think 1 ml of water, ito ay based lang sa water, ha? 1 ml is equivalent to 1 grams. But it varies on different liquids na ginagamit natin. Tandaan, some other liquid have different densities or different atomic number. And kung babalikan ninyo, yung atomic number is directly related sa gram per mole ng bawat substances. So kay water, ano, ang napapansin ko pag tinitimbang kasi I've tried weighing them down. kapag nakita ko yung 1 ml sa dropper, then tinimbang ko, usually 1 grams. Kaya lang may point siya, point something something. Okay? So tandaan, itong sinasabi ko is only for water. So dito, for other substances or liquid, you have to know kung ano yung mass ng liquid na meron yon or yung bigat ng ating atom na laman ng liquid na yon. Kasi doon magdedepende yung ating mass in grams. Okay? Itong 73.2, it is usually given as your volume. Ito yung nasusukat natin through graduated cylinder, no? Through graduated cylinder or mga panukat natin. So, if we're going to apply the equation on this, no, syempre madali lang, no? 61.5 divided by 73.2 unless ipahanap ko sa inyo yung grams through stoichiometry ng ating. So, make sure na always may dala kayo na periodic table. Okay, so the answer for this one is 0.840 gram per ml. Okay, and we also have, I think this one is, malapit tayo matapos. This one is specific gravity. So specific gravity is the density of substance compared to the water as a standard. So specific gravity is the ratio of two densities. It has no units. Tandaan, no need to add any input sa unit, pero same siya. Same siya ng formula. Halos, no, kay density. Yun nga lang, no, tingnan ninyo, the density of the copper is 8.92. The density of the water is 1.0. So, ang ating formula for this one, tandaan, substance, density of substance compared to the density of water. Remember, if we're comparing, we use ratio, tama? 8.92 is to 1.00. This is 1 is ratio. And we can write it down into this type of form. Pwede natin gawing division ang ratio. Okay? So sa specific gravity, when we compare and we look for a standard number, we can divide yung ating kina-compare sa ratio. So 8.92 divided by 1.0 is also 8.92. But since we are comparing both density that has both unit na gram per ml, again, gram per ml divided by gram per ml is equivalent to ano? 1. So, kahit hindi niyo na 'to isulat kasi times 1 is the same lang naman sa 8.92. Yun nga lang nawala yung unit natin. That's why on our specific gravity, we don't have any unit added to it. Okay? Next is energy. What is energy? So energy is the capacity to do work. Ma'am, will we discuss energy further? I think we will. No, mostly sa mga chemical reaction na. But we will not dive deeper sa energy gaya ng pag-dive deeper ng physics sa energy. Okay? So energy may be either kinetic or potential energy. And the calorie is the base metric of energy. So cal, yung maririnig ninyo. Kung makikita niyo sa mga food na kinakain ninyo, may cal. Because yun yung enough na energy na kaya niyong dalhin sa katawan ninyo. Okay? So we have kinetic and potential energy. For our kinetic energy, this is the energy in motion. Say for example, tumatakbo kayo. Nag-exert kayo ng kinetic energy. Say for example, umupo lang kayo, wala kayong ginagawa, nakatulala lang kayo. You have a potential energy in you. Okay? So yung mga gamit na nakatayo lang, not moving objects, they all have potential energy. So kapag gumalaw na yan, may kinetic energy na yun. So Ke increases as the object's velocity increases. Remember, velocity is different to direction. It's different to force. Ang velocity natin is movement ng object with a direction. Say, for example, the car moves or distance, sorry, ang velocity is distance with direction. So, the car moves 156 in distance. That's just a distance. Pero pag sinabing, the car moves 156 east or north or kung ano man, no, that is your velocity. Kasi meron ng direction na nakikita. So, kinetic energy is an increases as the object velocity also increases. So at the same velocity, a heavier object has a greater kinetic energy. So yung potential naman, it is a stored energy. So anything that is not moving has a potential energy. So I think we'll not use this. Itong formula na ito for kinetic energy will not dive deeper on that formula. This is just a representation that as you increase the kinetic energy, you also increase the velocity of an object, the mass and velocity of an object. So siya ay directly proportional. Okay? So for energy, example of kinetic energy are mechanical energy, light, heat, and electrical energy because they are all energy at motion. In chemistry, the most important forms of potential energy are the chemical energy and nuclear energy. Chemical energy, say for example, yung liver ninyo, may mga glycogen yan. Ang glycogen is the storage of glucose, tama? in our body. And our glucose, sila yung nako-convert natin into energy. No? All types of food na kinakain natin are converted either sa protein, sa fat, or sa glucose or ating carbohydrates. Okay? And the carbohydrates are the main source of our energy, which is kapag hindi natin ginagamit, napupunta siya sa glycogen form niya, and then nakastore yun sa ating liver. So that's an example of a chemical energy taking inside or taking place inside your body, which is potential energy. And we also have nuclear energy. I don't know if we will be discussing that anymore in the future, kung makakaabot tayo sa discussion, but if so, pwede natin i-discuss, okay? So chemical energy is stored in chemical substances, as for example, in foods, carbohydrates, and fats, and it is given often substance takes part in chemical reaction. So the law of conservation of energy, sinasabi ko kanina sa inyo, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Laging ganyan. Um, Say for example, yung falls na lang natin na yung ating falls, this is a kinetic energy, tama? And yung nilalabas niyan is geothermal energy. So yung energy niyan, pwede natin i-convert sa electric. Yung electric pwede gamitin sa household as mechanical. Yung mechanical pwede ma-convert ng tao into movement. Yung halimbawa into light energy. Yung light energy na yan nata-transform at pupunta sa mga tao. Magagamit yung light energy, etc. And then paikot lang ng paikot yung ating energy. So it cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred to one form to another. Okay? Okay, so we have last topic, we have heat and temperature. Heat is a form of energy, right? So heating refers to the energy transfer process when two objects of different temperature are brought into contact. So heat energy always flows from a hotter object to a cooler one until the two have the same temperature. So meron kasi tayong tinatawag na exothermic and endothermic, but we'll discuss that on our next topic and discussion. So heat is commonly measured in calories. So I hope you read, no, sa endothermic at saka exothermic reaction. Okay? So lastly, we have calorie, which is not part of an SI. As you may see, wala siya sa list ng SI natin kanina. The SI unit for heat is joule. Pero ang ginagamit natin kadalasang panukat ng mga food is is calorie. Yung conventional natin madalas gamitin. Okay? So 1 calorie, tandaan nyo lang din itong conversion factor na ito, is 4.184 joule. Okay? This is a specific heat. Again, guys, this is the amount of heat necessary to raise the temperature of 1 gram of substance by 100 degrees Celsius. So, ito yung sinasabi ko ng mga list. Meron na tayong list ng specific heat. I think this is also in the book. You don't need to memorize this. If ever mag-occur to sa ating mga problem, um, give no, ang value natin ito. So, parang specific gravity lang din. It is the amount necessary to raise the temperature of 1 gram of substance by 1 degree Celsius. Okay, next. Okay, so this one will no longer discuss this one. Okay, will not include this on our quizzes nor on our exam. Okay, so that ends our chapter for chapter 1. Again, guys, I'll meet you at 3:30 to 5:30 for our laboratory later today. I'm sorry with the schedule, but I hope you can all come. The meeting is recorded, but still, I hope you can still come since attendance is a must. Okay, so ayun guys, thank you so much. Do you have any other question before I end this meeting? Okay, so kung wala na yung sa velocity, ay sige, sige, may question, sige, go lang, ask lang kung may question. Okay, so hindi po ba displacement siya since walang given na time? Sa velocity. Ay, sorry, oo pala. Tama yun yung hinanap kong term. Thank you, Labordo. Thank you, Sir Labordo. Ano, displacement, tama, in exchange for velocity. Tama ba ako? Yung instead na direction, displacement yung gusto kong sabihin doon. Sorry, sorry. Thank you for that correction. Instead of direction, ano ba sabi ko doon? Ano ba sinabi ko kanina? Ilang item magiging quiz? 20. Ano bang sabi ko kanina? Ay, nabura na. Let me know, guys. I'll try to go back to the PowerPoint, but tama, sir. Oo, displacement. Kasi walang given time. Oo. Okay, sige. Next natin, yung PowerPoint po ipopost. I'll try to post this, but kukuha ko ng quiz sa book. So I hope you read the book in Bettelheim. I'll just send the link to the book, link of the book sa inyo later. Sige, sige. Sir, pasensya na, no? I'll just make it clear probably later this afternoon about the displacement. Tama, tama yung displacement since walang given na time. Okay, okay, sir. Paki-correct na lang. Okay, I'll also I'll also send you later or parang i-discuss natin later kung ano man yung displacement. Okay, thank you. I'll go back to the video later. Kasi nakalimutan ko yung sinabi ko. Pero tama lang di ko nga nasabi itong displacement. Anyway, ayan. Sige. Thank you, sir, ulit. Okay. Ilang items po ang magiging quiz? Again, guys, 20 items ang magiging quiz. Okay. Do you still have any question? May question pa ba, guys? Okay. So, gaano po kalalim yung scope ng string theory? Actually, yung string theory is what do you mean scope, sir? Scope sa ating discussion? Kasi hindi natin siya i-discuss in this discussion. But, kung tinatanong kung gaano kalalim yung string theory, up until now, hindi alam kung gaano kalayo ang itatakbo nitong theory na to kasi ongoing pa rin ang a lot of research that wish to support kung ano man yung meron ang string theory. Yung sa discussion. I think hindi natin i-discuss ang theory kasi this is one is for physics na. So, hindi tayo magda-dive deeper. So, yun nga, sabi ko, if you wanted supplementary, you can watch Michio Kaku on YouTube kasi gusto ko yung mga discussion niya. Tsaka, malinaw siya if ever you are going to dive deeper onto that topic. Ayun, but we will not be using that or will not be diving deeper on that. We'll just be discussing kung ano yung mga fundamentals, especially involved sa chemistry natin na subject. Ayan, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much yung mga questions. Let me know, guys, ha, kapag may correction kayo kasi minsan di ko napapansin din. So, it will be really a great help kung sasabihin ninyo sa akin. At saka syempre sa mga classmates ninyo kung iko-correct ninyo. Okay. I'm always open for correction naman, okay? So, if we do not have any question anymore, I'll be dismissing you guys. Thank you so much. And later this afternoon, we'll be discussing organic chemistry. So, introduction to organic chemistry. And then, ayun. So, kung may question kayo, you can message me on our Facebook. Messenger. If wala ng question, pwede na tayo mag-leave and I'll see you guys at 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 for our afternoon class and laboratory. Okay? Thank you. Thank you so much and I hope you learned a lot today. Thank you guys. Thank you.